Hello, I'm Alan Keays, and I'm joined today by Brent Curtis, and we're here to provide you a look at some of the stories we're working on here at the Herald. And I know you spent most of the day over at court here in Rutland.
That's right. Today was a suppression hearing for Alex Spanos, the man accused of causing the crash that killed Carly Farrow. He's charged with second-degree murder for that offense, and police and prosecutors say that he was high from huffing from an aerosol can containing dust off at the time of that crash. Now, the hearing today was about suppressing evidence collected, his blood essentially, that was collected less than an hour after that crash. Investigators felt like they needed to collect it in a timely fashion because of the way that the drug is expunged from your body rather quickly. And there's some legal arguments going on about whether or not they should have made an attempt to get a warrant, and whether his rights to due process were violated as a result of that search and seizure of his blood. So there was no decision made today. The judge is taking it under advisement, and is I don't see an actual decision on this coming until sometime in September, but it took another step forward today.
Has a trial date actually been set in the case?
No, there was a little bit of discussion about that today. Essentially, there was talk about a trial date, and the judge said, well, it's not going to be until late fall at the earliest, because she's going to get everything for this suppression hearing by then. Then she has to make a decision on it. Then they have to figure out where the venue for the trial is going to be, because they're going to move the case somewhere else. There was a change of venue request which has been granted. There's no trial date, and we don't know where the trial will be yet.
Okay. Well, also in tomorrow's paper, convicted killer Hope Schreiner. It was a case that made headlines and was played out on court TV. Mm-hmm. She killed her husband in their driveway in Townsend in Windham County. It was about 10 years ago. And she was, I guess, I believe, the oldest woman in Vermont's prison system right now. And she was just recently released. Susan Small here will have that story. She found out the information, Susan Small here. And corrections said they released her to a medical facility, and we'll have the details on that. She was not been paroled. Her minimum release date wasn't until like the 2020s. She was in her 70s.
That would make her almost 100, right?
Yeah, but she's been released to a medical facility. Also in tomorrow's paper, we'll have a story about students, or I guess they're not students now because school is out, so it'll just be children in the Rutland area learning about Shakespeare. A.J. Morrow and Brianna Allen, our reporter, we were there at I guess it's a Rutland Recreation
Sounds like fun.
program. And there was a crash that happened while you were in court, so Gordon Drusilla had to cover it over in West Rutland, where a woman was injured when she was on a bicycle and she was struck by a vehicle that then fled the scene. We have something on our website now if you want to find out what police are looking for. I know police just recently, I think before we walked in, issued a
press release, yeah.
And we'll have some more details on that. Apparently the paint has arrived, according to Gordon, for the Woodstock Avenue striping.
That'll be handy, huh? Having some visible lanes up on Woodstock Avenue, yeah.
So that work's going to get started pretty soon. And we'll have a story, you might know more about this than I do, actually, the lake search that's going to be taking place on Lake Champlain.
It's fascinating. Apparently there's a jet crash in 1971. I forget, I think there were at least two people on board, and they have some new technology that they're going to be using submarines, interestingly enough, to search for the plane at the bottom of the lake.
And one last thing, Gordon Drusilla will have yet another story about two longtime acts suing the Vermont State Fair after their contracts were canceled, according to Gordon. So we'll have the details on that. That's some of the stories we're working on. Oh, one last thing. Hubbardton will be celebrating their 250th birthday this weekend, and we'll have a story on our people and places about the events that are going to be happening there. So that's a look at some of the stories we're working on for tomorrow's paper, unless you had other breaking news you wanted to report right now.
No, looking out the window, I don't see any breaking news, Alan. I think we're good to go.
All right, well, that's it then. Thanks for watching.
Have a great day.